Well, Paul Gannon now joins me in the commentary position. Paul, great racing in Maryborough last weekend. Tonight it'll be no exception.
I'm sure that's true. I'm sure that's true. The Modified Productions racing is known for its closeness. We were pulling about 16.5 second laps in Maryborough by the end of the night. Totally different racetrack here for the guys though. Maryborough track, for those people who've been up there would know how quick and slick it is. This track a little bit heavier. And the driver's really looking forward to getting in amongst the action here at Toowoomba, one of the racetracks that they really enjoy. And we'll be back here, of course, for the national title. And a double up here tonight, the guys running for the Whitcott Seedlings Trackwell Motor Bodybuilders Modified Production Challenge, as well as trying to sort things out for that big big Australian Modified Production title at Easter time. I'll have a quick look through the cars for you. There are a few scratchings. Ed Pearson is out there in the Pearson Drilling Commodore. Beside him, the Logan City bus car, the big white Falcon of Neil Lewis. Sean Ayres, brand new driver in the Modified Production ranks, had his first run in Maryborough, did very, very well. Good enough for the steward to say, yes, you can be in the draw tonight. So he's up there right in position number 3. Outside of him, Glenn Bayfield, the East Coast car number 11, the Commodore. Good to see Glenn back out on the racetrack. Steve Collins, car number 43 from the East Coast as well, probably better known as a super street driver. But the Caboolture Bowl car there, car number 43 in the action tonight. Michael Halley, the big blue Falcon, the Michael Halley concreting car. They'll be one to watch. Car number 98 from Caboolture. Greg Walling in that beautiful Commodore all the way from Lismore. Car number 11 on the roof. And the other car out there is Warren Hooper. Car number 19 from the Sunshine Coast. It looks like we're getting ready to go racing. A good field of Modified Productions. They come up for all green one and away we go. 10 laps is the journey for the Modified Productions, and it's very, very wet in the first corner, as you can see. Back up a little bit on Ed Pearson, who drifted it right across the racetrack. We've got one in trouble down the back chute. There's Steve Collins. They'll sort themselves out and they'll know about turn number 1 next time around. Neil Lewis, it is the race leader. The Logan City car, as Ed Pearson goes very, very high. The problem is when you lose traction in the front of the car, and Neil Lewis pussyfoots it a little bit down the back chute, but keeps it out in front. Ed Pearson is in car number 4 in position number 2, and behind him and chasing hard, Michael Halley moves to the outside. In turn number 1 as Ed Pearson turns it around in the work. Warren Hooper is right there. Stands on the brake pedal and calls it to a halt. Warren Hooper, another one of the young guns in Modified Production racing. He's up there in 3rd position and he's come from the tail of the field. Looks like we're going racing straight away. This turn number 1 is still a bit of a worry for everyone, as Neil Lewis takes it very, very gently through turn 1. Got Michael Halley behind him, washes out in the front end again a little bit. That's when it gets a little bit disconcerting when the front of the car won't do what you want it to do. Coming through the pack too is Greg Walling. He's up there into position number 5, looking for a way underneath Glenn Bayfield, and has succeeded in doing so. Takes it very gently through turn number 1. Looks like they've sorted it out as they head down the back chute. Getting traction down the back is a little bit of a problem for Neil Lewis. Allows Michael Halley from the tail of the field. Out of position number 7, and Michael Halley takes the big blue Falcon into the race lead. Neil Lewis, the later model Falcon, is in position number 2, and here comes Greg Walling, the Lismore driver. They're cleared right out now from Warren Hooper. Steve Collins will be the next one in front of Glenn Bayfield. Then we've got Sean Ayres, and at the back now, Eddie Pearson. But starting to streak them. Michael Halley. Got them. Halley's concreting Falcon really chirping here at Toowoomba. Greg Walling has a look underneath Neil Lewis as they arrive at turn number 1. Still a bit slippery. Lewis moves aside and lets him through, then tries to come back underneath. Can't do it, and Greg Walling goes into 2, a long way back in 4th place. A bit of a problem down the back chute for him is Warren Hooper, and that allows Steve Collins to drive around the outside. 3 laps left in the event. and Michael Halley is just making it a Sunday picnic. Greg Walling chasing hard from the tail of the field, got the foot hard on the brake pedal. That's on turn number 3. Can see Michael Halley out front, but will probably run out of race distance. Michael Halley into turn 3, a long way in front of Greg Walling. The Lismore visitor and Neil Lewis a distant third, and Steve Collins has got the Caboolture Bowl Commodore up into position number 4. They've taken the white flag and 1 to go, but it's all Michael Halley for the first appearance here of the modified production. Too good on the night, and Michael Halley takes car number 98 through and takes the checkered flag in front of Greg Walling. Neil Lewis will be the next one home in car number 45. Steve Collins brings the Caboolture Bowls car number 43 across the line in front of Warren Hooper, Glenn Bayfield and Sean Ayres. And the last one to greet the judge would have been Eddie Pearson after coming to grief in turn number 2, about lap number 3. Errol Baldwin Jr. in the Baldwin Signs car, number 2 from the East Coast. Greg Schultz is there, the Albion car care car. Number 16 on the roof of Greg's car. Mark Ferguson, the Colophas car. That'll be one to watch. Andy Geppert is a scratching. Brett Barron, the South Burnett transport car. Car number 48. Gary Brown in the program as car number 2. Tonight, no Commodore for Gary tonight, is out in the Logan City Cortina, number 46, and we would like to thank Neil Lewis for his generosity there to make sure that Gary Brown continued to have the opportunity to score some points. The Cortina, I don't believe, has raced this year yet because Neil's got the new Falcon, but Gary Brown out there in the Logan City car. Good to see Gary in a Ford. Won't stay there for very long. Good field of modified productions, and Brian Leroy rolls around. That's the Corvette Queensland car. Commodore this time for him has a bit of a touch in the front line, and Brian Leroy gets the better of the jump and then arrives at turn number 2. We've got Errol Baldwin doing it sideways and Greg Schultz nowhere to go. And right on his hammer too is Brett Barron. Okay, should have known turn number with Errol Baldwin Jr. That's car number 2, the Baldwin Signs car. He's going to the back of the pack. Modified production racing, of course, if you are the cause. Side of the front row. As Errol Baldwin Jr. goes to the rear. Looks like we're going racing straight away. Brian Leroy, Mark Ferguson right beside him this time as they head up the main chute and take a green run. Side by side racing into turn number 1, and it's Mark Ferguson who gets the better of the jump on the outside in the Colophas Cortina in front of Brian Leroy. Next one back is Greg Schultz, and he is being hard pressed by Brett Barron. Greg Raymond is there too in the Falcon from the Karoy Auto Wreckers, and Todd Doyle on the outside, putting plenty of pressure on him as Gary Brown comes to grips with the Cortina and starts to pedal it. We've got one sideways, and at the end of the back straightaway, that's Todd Doyle. Joyce to him. He wasn't in trouble with the steward at all. He wanted the infield people to have a look at the car, make sure everything was right. Coming around for a restart. They got the power on nice and early. This time Brian Leroy leads into turn number 1. Mark Ferguson's up on the concrete. That's not where he wanted to be. Have a look at Toddy Doyle. He's through from the rear of the field and he's up there in position 2. Up the main straightaway we've got Brian Leroy in front of Todd Doyle. The next one is Greg Schultz, who washes a little bit in the corner. Brett Barron has a look underneath, can't do anything. Todd Doyle takes the red Petty electrical car into the race lead. That's car number 7. He's trying to keep Brian Leroy up nice and high. He's successful in doing so, and Leroy drops back into position number 2. Greg Schultz will be the next one in the Albion car care car in front of Brett Barron. The next one will be Gary Brown in the Logan City Cortina, his first drive in the car, so he's doing a good job in it. Greg Raymond will be working away on the inside the Karoy Auto Wreckers car. Gives Gary Brown a little bit of a how do you do in turn number 1. Back then to Mark Ferguson, who was all out of shape in that turn. And Earl Baldwin is the last car. Polly Doyle is the race leader. In front of Brian Leroy. Greg Schultz sitting it a little bit out of shape, and Brett Barron thinking he can have a look down the inside. It's not there. But Greg Raymond is now hard on his hammer as they come through turns 3 and 4. The action's back here, 4 positions, 2, 3 and 4. Brian Leroy is second, Greg Schultz holding on to third in front of Brett Barron, back through Greg Raymond, and Gary Brown coming to grips with the Cortina. A long way back then to Mark Ferguson and Earl Baldwin. Race leader opening up a big lead. That's Todd Doyle in car number 7. Back in second place is Brian Leroy. Having a little look down on the inside again was Brett Barron. Greg Schultz closes the door on him as they go through turn 3 and 4. Brett Barron can see open space down the inside of Greg Schultz, but he can't quite get the nose up there to take advantage. He would also know there's another car hot on his hammer behind him. He wouldn't actually know that it's Raymond at the moment. That's where the action is for position number 3. Brett Barron right up on the infield that time, and Greg Schultz right back on the outside. Barron barrels into him in turn number 1. Pulls out of it though eventually. Raymond came to grief behind him as well. Up with the white flag and 1 to go for Todd Doyle. And he has got a big lead over Brian Leroy. The next one through is Greg Schultz, who's battled hard, brushes out in the front again. Brett Barron can't take advantage. Back then to Greg Raymond. In front of Gary Brown and Mark Ferguson, but here's the winner, Todd Doyle. And the rest was better electrical Commodore. Making it 2 out of 2 for Gimpy. Second home is car number 6, the Corvette Queensland car. Came home in position number 2, and Greg Schultz, the Albion Car Care car, number 6. He's got 16 on the roof tonight. He holds on to finish in position number 3. Okay, we'll have a look. Okay, we'll have a look at the field. Have a look who's taken advantage of the cars that are missing tonight. Peter Lack takes up position number 1. The winner in Maryborough. In the Whitcott Seedlings, Commodore. Outside of him is car number 3, Steve Price out of Brisbane. Steve Jordan starts out of position number 3. You'll have a look in the program, you'll see that Steve Jordan leads the point score after 1 round. Outside of him, multi-award winner Mark Pagel in the Highway 1 Dots carpet car from Gympie. This car normally races as a Super Street. Mark Pagel behind the wheel tonight in the modified productions. Bernie Graney normally driving it as a Super Street. Said to his mate Mark, go and see what you can do in the modified productions. Car number 33, a brand new driver, Darryl Niesler. Good to see new drivers into the division. As a new driver has to start at the rear of the field. And Brad Stein is the other car number 6 from the South Burnett. A small field, but a class field. Have a look at these top 3 or 4 cars. This will be very, very quick. There's a green one, and Peter Lack takes the Whitcott Seedlings car into the race lead. Steve Price gets a little bit taily coming out of turn number 2. Holds on to position number 2 as they head down the back chute for the first time. Peter Lack picking up where he left off in Maryborough. Here's the race leader, Steve Price. Battling now with Steve Jordan to hold on to position number 2, and Steve Jordan has a little look down the inside and wants to take that position as they go through 3 and 4. One with bouncing through turn 4 was in fact Mark Pagel, but he holds on to position number 4 in front of Brad Stein, and the other car on the racetrack is Darryl Niesler. Down the back chute this time, Steve Blackburn. Tucks the nose underneath Steve Price, but he fights back on the outside, trying to hold on to that too, not this time. Steve Jordan up into position 2, has the loud pedal wide open as he sets sail after Peter Lack. the Whipcott Seedlings car. Is the race leader, that's Peter Lack, 05 from Toowoomba. The Blackburn Engineering car, Steve Jordan, car number 22, starting to shorten the distance between himself and Peter Lack, and Steve Price holds on to third. He's got Mark Pagel all over him at the back, and the next one is Brad Stein, and a long way back then to Darryl Nislow in his first night out in the car and doing a good job behind the wheel. Down the back chute, Peter Lack is slowly being drawn in, I think, by Steve Jordan. Steve Price has bounced it off the wall, and that's all that Mark Pagel needed to get up into third place. Brad Stein's going to try and come through with him as they head into turn number 1, but Steve Price closes the door on him and holds on to fourth place. Steve Blackburn, he's got 4 laps to do it. He's right on the hammer of Peter Lack as they head up the main straightaway. Peter Lack, Steve Blackburn, these are the 2 leaders in the series at the moment as they do battle down the back chute. About to put a lap on Darryl Nislow. Steve Blackburn, car number 22 with Steve Jordan behind the wheel of it. Right on the hammer of Peter Lack. They've got 2 laps to go. Peter Lack now knows there's somebody there. Put the pedal down a little harder on car 05. Steve Blackburn, Steve Jordan, sorry, right on his hammer. Has a little look on the outside as they take the right plate. Hooks him on the back as they come up to the left car, who moves out of harm's way. Shouldn't have done that. Should have held his line. Peter Lack holds on to the race lead. Steve Jordan trying right to the very end, but he can't do it. Peter Lack it is who holds on from Steve Jordan. Mark Pagel, the next one home in front of Steve Price. Brad Stein and Darryl Nislow, the last one to greet the judge. Put your hands together, folks. He's your own Peter Lack. He won the modified production feature in Maryborough. He's running second in the point score to Steve Jordan, and the two of them battled it out for the major points, and that was an acres of it. And if they haven't got it, then you can't find it. 54476033, Karoi Auto Records, along with Karoi Engine Centre, bring you the first heat of the second round of the Whipcott Seedlings Trackwell Motor Bodybuilding Modified Production Challenge here at Toowoomba this weekend. We'll have a quick look. Steve Collins should be off pole, which he is. He'll have Brett Barron on the outside. Steve Jordan will probably move up into about position number 3. Todd Doyle is there as well. Errol Baldwin Jr. is there in the East Coast car number 2. The Albion car care car number 6 is Greg Schultz. That's the field as Steve Jordan, one of the big performers in the modified production ranks, moves up into position number 3. He'll be looking to move up further, which he's done. Okay, well, we're going to have to get somebody out on the racetrack. As the pole car pulls out of the road, Steve Jordan's the one, doesn't quite know where he's supposed to be. He is in 3. That's where he should be. Okay, they seem to be in the right position now. Watch for the charge around the outside. We've got Brett Barron, the South Burnett Transport Commodore. Steve Collins off pole. Todd Doyle, the better electrical car on the outside, and Steve Jordan there as well. Greg Schultz getting excited towards the back of the field as well. There'll be a big charge up the main straightaway for the first time. As they settle down in turn number 1, it is Brett Barron who gets the better of the jump. Getting down on the inside of him now is Todd Doyle in car number 7, and tucked in there is Steve Jordan. Back we go to Errol Baldwin, Greg Schultz getting through as well. And at the tail of the field is Steve Collins in turn number 1. We've got a big charge on the inside. Todd Doyle versus Brett Barron, and these two come together regularly on country racetracks. This time, Todd Doyle gets the better of the encounter, slips to the outside, and Barron barrels in. Down the main straightaway. Into turn number 1 we go again, and underneath comes Brett Barron. Now he's out of, tries to pull out of that one. Steve Jordan nowhere to go, runs into the tail of the car. Greg Schultz up there in position number 4. Steve Jordan harassing car number 48, Brett Barron, but all the while, car number 7, Todd Doyle. I think I see a black flag in front. And we'll wait and see who gets it. Todd Doyle bouncing around turn number 4. Up the main chute he goes. Looks like it's Brett Barron in trouble with the officials again. As Steve Jordan looks for the way underneath, it's not there. Now Brett Barron moves out of the road, allowing Todd Doyle to continue. Out in the race lead, Jordan chasing him. Greg Schultz has the advantage in this one. He's up now into position number 3. And Brett Barron will be livid. Steve Collins is the next one in front of Errol Baldwin. Back to our race leader, and it's the Better Electricals car. Of Todd Doyle behind the wheel. Steve Jordan chasing hard. As they head down the back chute, Greg Schultz is a distant third. And this is a rarity in modified productions to have them spread out so much. Todd Doyle, Errol Baldwin down the back, he's in trouble. Plenty of smoke out the back of Errol Baldwin's car. Might be a tyre rubbing, that's all. Gets the mechanical defect flag. We've got 2 laps to go. As down the back chute goes Todd Doyle, he's got Steve Jordan still hammering away. Back there in second place, they bounce through turn 3 and 4 with 1 lap to go. They're up now on the tail of Errol Baldwin Jr., who's got some tyre problems in the back of the car. Down the back chute they head. Todd Doyle first into turn number 3. Steve Jordan has a look in the final corner down the inside. Doesn't seem as though he can do it. Todd Doyle it is in front of Steve Jordan. A long way back in 3rd place will be Greg Schultz. That's the Albion Car Care car, number 16. And Steve Collins across the line. Errol Baldwin Jr. having some problems with the car, gets it across the line. And Big Food Services, that's Kalula Gympie Food Services. And they bring you the next round of modified production racing in the Whitcott Seedlings Trackwell Modified Production Challenge. They're on the racetrack right now. We'll pick them up for you in Glen Bayfield. We'll lead them away. He's on the inside. Sean Ayres is on the outside of him. Stephen Price is car number 3. Michael Halley's already got a win under his belt in the Falcon, so that's one to watch on the outside of the second row. They're rolling around. Going to be an immediate start. One on the outside is Peter Lack looking for the big fly. It's not there because Greg Raymond has gone around the outside as well. Michael Halley's in there. Raymond's on the outside. We've lost Stephen Price. Sean Ayres got the big jump and needed to because of Michael Halley on the outside, Greg Raymond on the outside, and Peter Lack. Brian Leroy's there as well. Big field of modifieds as they roll around. Look for a green one. Away we go again. On the outside, Sean Ayres is getting plenty of help, and there's plenty of movement in amongst the pack. This is modified. We've got Steve. No, it's this time Warren Hooper, I think, got him around sideways. Car number 19, the Shoreline Transport car. And I'll do it again. And again, watch the charge on the outside. Young Sean Ayres, this is his second drive. good drive up in Maryborough, enough to get a full licence from the steward, and he knows he's in a bigger meeting right here tonight because he's got some of the country's best hammering away behind him, and all takes loose with Glenn Bayfield, Greg Raymond and Peter Lack. Lap still to go. Right, let's hope they got it out of their system. Let's go racing. Sean Ayres on the outside of Glenn Bayfield. Let's see if they can get around to a number one clearly. A little bit of dip and bars at the back of the pack as they get towards turn number back straight. We've got Michael Halley sideways. He'd be a steward. The full rear. And he certainly knows he's out in a race meeting because he's got Michael Halley right behind him. Looks like we're ready for a start this time. Let's see what happens. Brad Stein says, give me the front, that's what I want. And away he goes, and we've got through turn number 2 for the first time. Brad Stein is the race leader, but Michael Halley says, not for long. Takes the big blue Falcon into the race lead. Greg Raymond looking down the inside of Sean Ayres. Neil Lewis would be the next one in front of car number 11, Glenn Bayfield. At the back is Steve Price and Peter Lack, and Sean Ayres in trouble. Down the back chute, right up high on the fence. The race leader is Michael Halley. Greg Raymond underneath Brad Stein and gets it in turn number 1 as they've completed 2 laps of the journey. Coming from the back of the field now is Peter Lack. He wants to get up into a better position as Brad Stein leans on the back of Greg Raymond and clears the back out of the car. Pulled out of the day in turn number 3 and continues on his way. Neil Lewis doing battle there with Peter Lack. One turn around is Steve Price, and Sean Ayres nowhere to go, collects him. It's gone out. We've still got 7 laps to go in this one. Off we go with the green flag again, and car number 98, Michael Halley. Getting a little bit of a helping hand through turn 1 and 2. In fact, he's in trouble there. Now he's got it mobile as Greg Raymond is in second place, and here comes, you know who, Peter Lack in the Whipcott Seedlings car. So we've got 3 very, very quick motor cars at the front of the field, and Michael Halley, Greg Raymond and Peter Lack, and they're starting to put some distance between themselves and Brad Stein. Neil Lewis would be the next one, and Glenn Bayfield. Michael Halley really got the foot into the Blue Falcon in front of Greg Raymond. Peter Lack has a look underneath and goes into position number 2. Michael Halley gets into trouble down the back chute. Peter Lack out wide as well, and Raymond back through into position 2. Peter Lack has a look underneath, gives him a little bit of a tap and a barge, and he comes through into the front. A little bit of a left tap from Peter Lack. Greg Raymond right on his hammer. He goes wide in turn number 2. That's a little bit on the rough side. While this is happening, car number 98, Michael Halley is just running away. Greg Raymond and Peter Lack doing battle for position number 2. Back going into 4th position and trying desperately to get up level with him is Neil Lewis. Meanwhile, have a look at the lead. Car number 98, Michael Halley running away with it. Peter Lack looking for the outside pass around Greg Raymond. Down the back chute they go. If they had door handles, they're racing door handle to door handle. Through turn number 4, we'll watch these two. Peter Luck has got it going on the outside. Big Raymond down on the inside, won't give in. Comes back again through turn 2 and hits one of the ruts and then gets all out of shape. Michael Holly bouncing it through turn number 3. Takes the checkered flag in front of Peter Lack. Next one home will be Greg Raymond in front of Neil Lewis. And crossing the line to complete the journey is Glenn Bayfield, and then we got a big charge from the infield because they can still get points for crossing the line. Thought, but we'll wait and see what happens. Mark Ferguson, the colour fast Cortina. Gary Brown is in the Logan City Cortina, not Brisbane 2. Greg Walling is there, the Lismore car. Ed Pearson and Darryl Neisler. That's the field of modified productions. We've got Mark Pagel on the inside, Mark Ferguson. Behind them, Gary Brown. Beside him, the man from Lismore, Greg Walling. Ed Pearson and Darryl Neisler. There's the green one and away we go. Into turn number 1 for the first time. Mark Ferguson is in front of Mark Pagel. Greg Walling getting a little bit out of shape, holds on to 3. Gary Brown tucks himself neatly into position number 4, Ed Pearson. And Darryl Neisler in his first night out in a modified production. That's the journey for this event as Mark Ferguson, the colour-fast Cortina, leads them down the back chute for the second time. He's got Mark Pagel right behind him. The next one would be Greg Walling, back then to Gary Brown in front of Ed Pearson. Out of shape a little bit in turn number 4 was Mark Pagel, but he gets back into position number 2. Just a little bit wide again on turn number 2. Greg Walling takes up the invitation and goes through into position number 2. Mark Ferguson washes out a little bit as he heads up the main straightaway for the third occasion. He's got Greg Walling hot on his hammer now, and Mark Pagel will be the next one. Gary Brown is in car number 46, back to Ed Pearson. Bouncing through turns 3 and 4 is Mark Ferguson. That's the colour fast Cortina, and he leads over. Not for very much longer, I don't think. Greg Walling has a little bit of a look down the inside. Can't do it this time. Mark Pagel drives around the outside. Back into position number 2. They're 3 wide coming onto the main straightaway. Mark Pagel decides the outside might be the way to go, and he's going to try for it around the outside of Mark Ferguson as they head down the back chute. Stays out there. We've got Greg Walling in third place and Gary Brown joining on the end of the line as they head up the main chute. Once again, Mark Ferguson leads Greg Walling. Plenty of action behind him. Mark Pagel would be the next one, Gary Brown. Greg Walling wants the outside, moves around Mark Ferguson and into the race lead. Mark Ferguson bounces through turn number 2, can't do anything about it. Greg Walling's in the race lead. Mark Ferguson, Mark Pagel, back to Gary Brown, Ed Pearson. And the last car on the track is Darryl Neisler. But it's the Lismore man. The Valvoline car, number 11 out of Lismore, Greg Walling, opens up the legs of the big Commodore and charges down the back chute. In front of Mark Ferguson, Mark Pagel tucked in there, Gary Brown close for some major points in this one as they bounce through turn number 4. Gary Brown up on the inside of Mark Pagel looking for that third placing. There's plenty of action behind Mark Ferguson. Forget about the race leader. Eamon Hose is the checkered flag waits for. Greg Walling out of Lismore. Takes it out. Mark Ferguson will hold on into position number 2 in front of Mark Pagel. The next one home, Gary Brown in front of Ed Pearson. Darryl Neisler will be the final one to greet the judge in car number 33. Good drive to our New South Wales visitor. One of the top performing modified productions in Australia. Greg Walling takes it out. Mark Ferguson battled hard, bouncing through the ruts in turn 2 and 4. Held on to position number 2 in front of Mark Pagel, and Gary Brown going...
You're all right.
Well, we're here tonight at Toomba's Charlton Speedway for round 2 of the Withcott Seedlings Trackwell Modified Production Car Championships. Last week in Maryborough, it was absolutely frantic, and Greg Walling, it's not much better tonight.
No, it's I wasn't there last weekend. I'd love to have been there. We had a few engine problems from Lismore the week before, and but we're looking forward to tonight and putting in a good result.
That last heat, a little bit hectic there out of turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's the track is really strange. It's slick one end, and down the other end it's quite ruddy coming in the turn. So it's just trying to get the balance of the car right is not real easy. But everyone's in the same boat.
It's great to see so many production car drivers here too. I guess the Australian title later on this season, the advantage?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. It was in Lismore this past season, and having the Australian title again in this close, in this southeast Queensland region is great, and there's going to be a lot of good cars coming here to get some mileage on the track.
And just tell us how you've been going tonight.
Well, we've got a second and a first, so I'm really happy with that. Our next start is towards the front, I think, so we've just got to try and get the balance of the car a little bit better, but happy so far. It's just a matter of trying to keep everything together, though, because anything can happen in this game, as we always testament to.
Yeah, modified production is fairly fierce, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
it is, and but the stewarding I hear was excellent last weekend, and the guys are really on notice, and so we can have good, close, hard racing, and I'm looking forward to that tonight.
That's what it's all about.
Yep, thanks very much.
Good luck with it later on.
Thanks very much.
Well, Steve, you're the current, you're the defending champion. You're currently leading the point score. They put any pressure on you tonight?
I'll tell you what, there's a lot of pressure on, actually. I mean, these guys that are racing here now are very quick bunch of contenders. I mean, we used to go out there and sort of race with about 4 or 5 of us, but now there seems to be 10 or 15 of us. So the pressure is really on, yeah.
Production cars seem to be on an upward climb. I guess the fact that the Australian titles here over Easter will bring a lot more out this weekend.
For sure. Well, you've got to sort of race the track to sort of get the feel of it, to sort of have some sort of edge for the Australian title. Again, that's going to ask for a lot more competitive drivers, and so, you know, every edge you can sort of get, be here, you know.
Just tell us a bit about this new series. Graham Earhart and now Trackwell have put a lot into it. Is it paying off for them?
It is, I think it is. It's, I mean, ever since they've done the series, it was a little bit slow to take off, but a lot more sponsors got behind it. Everyone seems to be getting a lot of response from it. A lot of good drivers are turning up to every meeting, so that sort of tells you that everyone's enjoying themselves. And like, if it's hard, fierce racing, you know, it marks for better racing. You know, it's good.
It certainly brings the crowd back. It's following a tradition too. I guess sprint cars have their series, the speed cars have their series, super sedans and now you guys. So it's just a natural progression.
Exactly right. Yeah. I mean, the guys here are just tremendous. I mean, it's a big family environment. A lot of these guys have been racing for a few years, but it's an all big family affairs. And I mean, hopefully we just put on for the spectators out there. You know.
Good luck in tonight's feature race, and let's hope you can stay on top of the points ladder.
No worries. Thank you.
So Greg Graham, tell us how you're going tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty good actually, considering the situation.
What's the problem?
Oh, just trying to get a car to handle, and track's a bit funny tonight, so of course it's starting to spit, so that's thrown a new thing into it. These
modified productions now are getting fairly quick and fairly competitive, aren't they?
Yeah, very competitive now, very hard. Very hard to do any good now.
And this series, just you know, how do you guys feel about this series?
Yes, it's really good. It's be good to see a few more cars in it, but so far it's turning out pretty good.
And how have you got on your heats tonight?
Yeah, I got a 5th and a 3rd.
So do you know where that'll put you as far as the feature goes?
Oh, probably about 5th or 6th, I would think so far.
And how big a job is it there to get the job done from 5th?
Yeah, last time up here we started 7th and finished 2nd, so.
Knowing the way you drive and how hard you run, it's achievable.
Yeah, I think it is.
Well, good luck with it, and
okay.
All the best for the series.
Thanks for that.
T-shirt from Withcott Seedlings and Trackwell Bodyworks, along with the Withcott Seedlings cap. Heard about the engine down there in the pits before. Ed Pearson is there in the Pearson drilling car. Greg Schultz is the Albion Car Care car, number 6, Errol Baldwin Jr. Should be out. The gate is closed, so that looks like all of them. Shane Ayres trying desperately to get the car, or Sean Ayres trying desperately to get the car back together after a front-on collision. And Errol Baldwin Jr. also having some car troubles, maybe not coming out for this side under the bonnet there during the interval break. That Michael Halley only knows one way, and that's foot flat on the floor. So watch for the action from the front row here. Todd Doyle, Michael Halley, Greg Walling, Brett Barron in there as well, Ed Pearson and Greg Schultz. It's a class field of 6 modified production family racing. Into turn number 1, in fact it's Todd Doyle getting a little better of the drive down the inside, and he takes the race lead. Michael Halley tucks into position number 2, and it's plenty rough in the bottom corner there. It's Todd Doyle who hangs on to it the best. Michael Halley will be the next one. Greg Walling muscles his way through into position number 3. Back behind him is Brett Barron as Greg Schultz does a 360 down the back chute, keeps it going and continues on his merry way. Todd Doyle. The Gimpy car number 7 is in trouble on turn number 2, gets it out of shape. Michael Halley took evasive action for some reason very quickly out of the bucket and went back into 3rd position, allowing Greg Walling to take the Commodore up into position number 2. Michael Halley the next one in front of Brett Barron. Michael Halley comes back down the back chute. Todd Doyle is the race leader in the better electrical car number 7. Leads Greg Walling. That's the Valvoline car out of Lismore. The Michael Halley concreting Falcon holds on to 3rd, and the South Burnett Transport car number 48 is in the hands of Brett Barron back there in position number 4, a long way back to Ed Pearson. Greg Walling starting to make life a little bit difficult now for Todd Doyle in car number 7 as they go through turn 1 and 2. Walling starts to have a little look down the inside. They're about half race distance as they go through turn 3 and 4. That's where it's getting a little bit rough and bumpy, but Doyle gets it around this time. Has got Greg Walling right on his hammer. Todd Doyle gets it a little bit wide, coming out to turn 2. Greg Walling tucks the nose under. Todd Doyle able to pull it back down on line. Bounces through them through turn number 4. Walling down low. Walling there the race lead as he goes through turn number 1. Todd Doyle tucks it back down underneath, but Greg Walling's the new race leader. From Todd Doyle, Michael Halley in front of Brett Barron. Through turn 4 they going up the main straight away, and Greg Walling leads from the merry dance now, starting to put some distance between himself. Michael Halley in trouble, has broken something in the front end of the car and has gone straight to the fence. Something gone wrong there with the car, bouncing it through turn. We're going to go racing straight away. There's the green one. We've only got 2 laps to go, and Greg Walling, yeah, the race is going to get underway very, very quickly. Drops right away from Todd Doyle. Back there in 3rd place now is Brett Barron. We'll be happy to get some major points in this one as they take the right one and only one to go for Greg Walling. Todd Doyle in 2nd place, Brett Barron in 3rd, back down to Ed Pearson in front of Greg Schultz. And at the tail of the field is Michael Halley. But it's the Lismore car of Greg Walling who bounces it through turn number 4 and up to take the checkered flag in front of Todd Doyle. Brett Barron the next one home in front of Ed Pearson. Greg Schultz in car number 6. To the better of Michael Halley. Well, too good for the locals. The man from Lismore, Greg Walling, one of the top modified production drivers in the country. The Valvoline car, the Casino Holden car, number 11, is Greg Walling. The Maribor round. Warren Hooper, the Shoreline Transport car from the Sunshine Coast. We go all the way back then to Neil Lewis. That's the Logan City Buses car, Neil Lewis. Mark Pagel is on the outside of him, Highway 1 car from Gympie. And Steve Collins has got them all in front of him. Steve Price finished for the night after a bit of an engine problem, dropping oil all over the track last time out. We're looking for a green, and away we go. As Steve Jordan says, guys, I own this one. Just have a look at what the back of the car looks like. Warren Hooper's in second place. Neil Lewis and Mark Pagel come to grips in turns 3 and 4, as Mark Pagel will get the better of it on the outside this time around. Steve Jordan has disappeared in the distance. Warren Hooper from the Sunshine Coast holds on to position number 2. Mark Pagel is third in front of Neil Lewis. Back then to Steve Collins in car number 43. That's the Kabucha Bowl car from the East Coast, having a while at a time in the car here. Kalimba loves it. Have a look at Steve Jordan motoring away out in front in the Blackburn Engines car. The car lives in Roma, so it's a long way from home. Steve Jordan comes up from Brisbane. The Blackburns have brought it in from Roma, and it is doing a great job out in front, leading them a merry dance. Warren Hooper battling hard with Mark Pagel for position number 2. That's the Shoreline Transport car from the Sunshine Coast. Mark Pagel is in position number 3, and it's the Logan City Buses car of Neil Lewis, the White Falcon, in 4, and Steve Collins, the other car on the racetrack, in 5. But Steve Jordan, he'll want to be up the front of the field somewhere, because he knows a lot of fast motor cars will face the final if he heads down the back chute. About halfway through the event, over Warren Hooper, Mark Pagel. Neil Lewis getting on the tail of Mark Pagel again as they head through turn number 4 and up the main straightaway yet again. Steve Jordan making every post to win it out in front. In the Blackburn Cortina, car number 22, he's got Warren Hooper now. Right behind him will be Mark Pagel, trying to put a little bit of pressure on him as they come up the main straight. Warren Hooper now has Mark Pagel right on his hammer, and Neil Lewis tucks it underneath. Mark Pagel says, here we come. Down the back chute, Mark Pagel having a little look down the outside. Steve Jordan running away with this one. He's got 2 laps to go. Warren Hooper's got his hands full with Mark Pagel, and Neil Lewis just waiting his time there in 4th place, looking for a bit of a gap. Back then to Steve Collins. The white flag is out for Steve Jordan. Car 22 is running away with this one. The action's back here for position 2. It's still Warren Hooper. He's in front of Mark Pagel, who can't get on the outside to have a run, but he's got his hands full now too with Neil Lewis. We've got in the final corner. Steve Jordan gets across the line to take it out, and Warren Hooper, it will finish in 2nd place in front of Mark Pagel. Next one home would have been Neil Lewis, and Steve Collins, the last one to greet the judge. Well, Steve Jordan throwing down the gauntlet in that heat, in the Coolum Beach Getaway Resort heat, and saying that's what the Blackburn Engines Cortina, and as we were saying earlier in the night, this is the first time he's driven the car, and he's doing a good job in it too. Normally here in the Aussie Trackware Commodore, he says this one's a little bit different. You roll into the corner in the Commodore and it goes around the corner. This one you roll into the corner and go straight ahead. So a bit of spanner work on the Cortina during the interval break, and hopefully they got it right as the track slickens right off. 5. Car number 42 will be Mark Ferguson. In the colour fast Cortina, and Darryl Nicely at the back of the field in car number 33 with Orion Racing. Gary Brown is the first into the corner. Here comes Peter Luck from the outside off the 2nd row, down on the inside of Gary Brown. He goes, a little bit of a shuffle, says move out of the road, Gary Brown, I'm coming through. And Peter Luck is the race leader. Greg Raymond will go with him. Into 2nd place, Gary Brown will have to get back on the race line, otherwise he'll be shuffled right back down the field. Gets back down there in position number 3 as Brad Stein wants to have a go at him. The 2 of them arrive at turn number 2. Gary Brown, Brad Stein. In there too is Mark Ferguson. As they shuffle Gary Brown further back down the field, Mark Ferguson the next one in line. But Peter Lack said bye-bye fellas, see you later. Greg Raymond's in position number 2. Brad Stein would be the next one in front of Mark Ferguson, bouncing through the ruts, and then we've got Gary Brown a long way back to Glenn Bayfield and Daryl Nicely at the tail of the field. The action's back in the middle of the pack here as Mark Ferguson has a little bit of a look under Brad Stein and gets there. As they bounce through the turns 3 and 4, Gary Brown wants a bit of the action too under Brad Stein. He's right underneath him in turn 1 and 2. Brad Stein on the outside gets a bit of drive and holds on to position number 4. Meanwhile, Peter Lack, he's gone. Say goodbye to the Ripcott Seedlings car. Greg Raymond in the Karoy Auto Wreckers. Charlton is in 2. Back in 3rd place. That's the colour fast Cortina. Mark Ferguson doing a good job in front of Bradley Stein, and the next one there is Gary Brown. A long way back to Glenn Bayfield and then to Daryl Meisler. The action is definitely 3rd, 4th and 5th. Forget about Peter Lack, he's gone. Have a look at the lead that the Ripcott Seedlings car has got. Greg Raymond holds on to position 2. He's got Mark Ferguson hot on his hammer. It's a bit rough in turn 3. Mark Ferguson gets right up on him, but Greg Raymond gets back down on the race line. He's got Mark Ferguson right on his hammer. Brad Stein moves the next one. And behind him is Gary Brown. Back then to Glenn Bayfield and Daryl Meisler. Through turns 3 and 4. Brad Stein gets a little bit high on the racetrack. Gary Brown can't do anything about it. As Peter Lack continues on his merry dance way out in front. Takes it the white flag, 1 to go. Greg Raymond has moved away now from Mark Ferguson, who's in trouble, gets it out of line. Here comes Brad Stein. Up underneath, plenty of action. Gets a little bit loose in turn number 1, but fighting back on the outside was Mark Ferguson, and Brad Stein makes a mistake and Gary Brown gets underneath. Peter Lack's taken it out from Greg Raymond. Mark Ferguson, Gary Brown and Brad Stein. And we'll wait for Glenn Bayfield, the next one to complete the journey to the East Coast, car number 11, and the last one home is Daryl Meisler, who's having a good drive for his first night out in the car. First appearance in the Modified Productions. Whoa,